Hello there! My name is Tanner, and I'd like to welcome you back to my YouTube channel. Yes, I did shave my face recently, and yes, I'm fully aware that it looks like I went from 25 to 15 in one fell swoop. Now that we've gotten that out of the way, for this week, I was thinking I would dive back into my objectively extensive repertoire of stories. Though, at first, I could not decide which one I wanted to tell you guys. However, I decided to tell you guys one of my absolute favorite myths, specifically from Norse mythology. Now, the reason this is my favorite story is because of just how amusingly absurd the whole thing is. And I hope that by listening to this, you'll get as much of a kick out of it as I do. Now, as with most of my other myth and legend retellings, linked to the playlist in the cards and in the description down below, I will try to keep this story as close to the original as possible, but also adding in a sprinkle of creative license when and where I feel is needed. Also, I figured the story might be a bit long, so I took the liberty of dividing it in half so that this video is not half an hour long. So, without further ado, here is part 1 of the story of Thor's wedding. Everyone knows about Thor, the Norse god of thunder and lightning, the main line of defense for Asgard, who wields the mighty hammer Mjolnir. In the ancient myths, Mjolnir was said to be the greatest weapon in all of Asgard. However, unlike the Marvel version, which could only be wielded by Thor or someone as worthy, the Mjolnir in the myths was more along the lines of so powerful only Thor or someone as powerful as him could wield it without self-destructing. Now, Thor, more often than not, kept Mjolnir with him even when he wasn't using it. In fact, he usually kept it next to his bed as he slept. So, imagine how panicked he must have felt when he woke up one morning, reached for his hammer, and found only the floor. He leapt out of bed and looked all over his room, waking his wife, the golden-haired goddess Sif, in the process. "Husband?" she said, half sleepily. "What are you doing?" "Mjolnir," Thor answered, slightly panicked. "It's gone missing." "Mjolnir?" Sif asked, concerned. "Are you sure you haven't just misplaced it?" "I'm absolutely sure. I always keep it next to the bed as I sleep. My hammer couldn't just sprout legs and walk away." He thought and thought, stroking his beard and pacing around his room, when suddenly a thought struck him. It might have been stolen. But who? The realization dawned on him. If the hammer was stolen, there was only one Asgardian who would dare take it. He stormed out of the house, screaming, "Loki!" He went looking for the Mischief Maker, blood brother to Odin, the Allfather. Yet another thing the Marvel Comics got wrong about Norse myths. He found Loki sitting quietly with his wife Sigyn, eating breakfast. "Why, Thor," Loki said in a slightly bemused voice. "What a pleasant surprise!" "Where is it?" Thor shouted. "Where's what, Thor?" "Don't play dumb! Where's my hammer?" Loki was shocked at the outburst. "Why, Thor, you know as well as I that the hammer never leaves your side, even when you sleep. Why, in all of Asgard, do you think I would know where it is?" "My hammer has gone missing, and you're saying you don't know where it is?" At this, Loki became very worried. Missing? Your hammer's gone missing?" "You know perfectly well it's gone missing, Mischief Maker!" Thor thundered at him. "You probably stole it as a joke!" Now, Thor, Loki said in a soothing voice. Let's be rational here. Even if I wanted to steal Mjolnir, I couldn't. After all, as you yourself know, only someone of your strength can lift it. Do I seem like the type of god at your strength level? Thor paused to think about this logic, and slowly his anger dissolved into concern. But if you didn't steal it, then where did it go? Are you sure you haven't just put it somewhere and forgot where you put it? Loki asked. Come, I'll help you look. Loki and Thor made their way back to Thor's house, and together they searched it from top to bottom, which, given Loki's cunning and talent for shapeshifting, was a lot more thorough the second time around. When they didn't find it, however, Loki grew worried. Thor, I don't think your hammer is here. However, I do have an idea. Loki told Thor about his plan to gather information, and Thor, desperate to get his hammer back, agreed. Loki made his way to Folkvanger, home of the beautiful goddess of love, Freya. When he got there, he found her sitting on her throne, her necklace Brisingamen at her throat, and flanked by the two giant tabby cats that pulled her chariot. Loki, Freya said, in that voice that one uses when they want to be polite, but are also suspicious of your intentions. What a nice surprise! What brings you here? Freya, Loki said, in a hurried, slightly panicked voice. I need to borrow your falcon feather cloak. Freya heard the slight note of panic in his voice, and her expression changed from polite yet suspicious to deeply concerned. Why do you need it? What happened? Mjolnir is missing, and no one can find it. I need your cloak so I can search the other worlds for it. Freya thought this over for a moment, then summoned one of her servants. Bring Loki my cloak, the one made of falcon feathers. And hurry, we don't have much time to waste. The servant disappeared and reappeared moments later, carrying a bundle of feathers. Thank you. Now, Loki, she said before giving him the cloak, I need you to promise me that you'll return this once you get the information you need. Loki made this promise, and Freya draped the cloak over his shoulders. With a swirl of feathers, Loki took off into the sky. He flew around most of the other 9 worlds until he made his way to Jotunheim, the land of the giants. There he settled on a tree branch and looked around until he heard the sound of booming laughter and saw the giant Lord Thrym. He flew over, landed next to him, and said, Good day to you, Thrym. Thrym stopped laughing and looked around until he spotted Loki. When he saw him, Thrym's face broke into a wide grin. Hello, Loki, mischief maker. What brings you to Jotunheim? Well, I heard laughter and I flew over to see what jokes were being told. Ah, well, haven't you heard that Thor's hammer was stolen from under his nose? Thrym asked with a smug smile. I might have heard about it, Loki said, in what he hoped was a nonchalant voice. Do you happen to know where it is? At this question, Thrym threw back his head and let out a booming laugh. Why, of course I do. In fact, I was the one who stole it. He laughed some more, and Loki opened his mouth to speak when Thrym interrupted. Do not bother trying to look for it, mischief maker, for I've hidden it in a place 8 miles deep in the earth that only I can access. Loki knew what was coming next, so he sighed and said, I suppose you'll be wanting a trade. Mjolnir the hammer for something else. So, what is it you want for the hammer? Thrym rubbed his hands together and chuckled. Very simple, Mischief Maker. I will give back the hammer if, and only if, the lovely goddess Freya agrees to marry me. So, with that information in hand, Loki flew back to Asgard and called an emergency meeting of the Asgardian Council to tell them what he knew. And there we have it. That was part one of The Tale of Thor's Wedding. If you like this video and you want more, please give this video a like and subscribe down below so you don't miss any new videos. Also, if you have any other ideas for any future videos, please leave your thoughts in the comments down below, and who knows, it might just happen. Alright, well, that's all the time I have for this video, so I'll see y'all next week with Thor's Wedding Part 2. See you guys then.